I have heard today that a new Danish study just came out finding no connection between Tylenol and autism. What is your reaction to that study?
The study is a garbage study. It should be retracted. The study took the medical records of 1 million Danish women, and it compared women who got Tylenol during pregnancy to people who did not. The problem is the way it determined whether they got Tylenol during pregnancy was by prescriptions. So only 2% of the people in the study got Tylenol during pregnancy, according to the endpoint. In fact, we know because Tylenol is available by over the counter. Most of you have taken Tylenol. Very few of you have ever gotten a prescription. 50% of the women in Denmark, we know from other studies, actually took Tylenol during pregnancy. So the study was comparing women who took Tylenol during pregnancy to women who took Tylenol during pregnancy. It was a garbage in, garbage out study. The industry has the capacity to generate these studies all the time, and it's fraudulent. It should be retracted.
Mr. Secretary, the Commander-in-Chief of the United States military is calling for the eradication of an entire civilization. And 5 days later, the President started posting on Truth Social at 9 p.m. at night, continuing until 5 a.m. the next morning, and included an unhinged attack on Pope Leo, claiming Pope Leo was weak on crime. And then, later that day, the next day, President Trump posted this image of himself as Jesus Christ. Mr. Secretary, people across the country and around the world were deeply offended by this blasphemous image. Millions of Americans are questioning this president's mental fitness, his emotional stability, and whether he can carry out the duties of his office. Do you share their concerns about his mental health?
I want to call your attention to the last line of that.
Mr. Secretary, my question was, do you share their concerns about his mental health?
I want to call your attention.
Mr. Secretary, you're not being responsive. Apparently not reclaiming my time, Mr. Secretary. Mr. Secretary, reclaiming my time. Mr. Chairman, direct the witness. It's my time, Mr. Secretary. You're not being responsive, and apparently you don't share their concerns. We are a nation at war, Mr. Secretary. We need a commander-in-chief that we know has full command of his mental faculties and is emotionally stable as he sends uniformed American men and women into harm's way. Millions of Americans are now wondering if this president is delusional and thinks he is Jesus Christ. Mr. Secretary, given everything that I've shown you today, will you insist that President Trump undergo an assessment of his mental fitness and his emotional stability?
Absolutely not.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Reclaiming my time absolutely not. I remind you that under the 25th Amendment, you have a duty to remove a president who is physically or mentally unable to discharge his responsibilities under the Constitution. It's your duty. You took an oath to the Constitution, not to President Trump. Mr. Secretary, should President Trump fail a mental fitness test or an evaluation about his mental stability or emotional stability, would you vote to invoke the 25th Amendment?
There's been a president who's more
Mr. Secretary, my question is, would you vote to invoke the 25th Amendment? Mr. Secretary, reclaiming my time. My question, Mr. Secretary, would you invoke the 24th Amendment if he were to fail an assessment of his mental stability or emotional stability?
As I said, President Trump is the most...
Apparently not, Mr. Secretary. Apparently not. Mr. Secretary, we can all see that this president is mentally unstable, emotionally unstable, and is unfit to lead this country. You, as the nation's top health official, have a particular role here. And you are choosing your loyalty to Donald Trump over your loyalty to the Constitution and keeping the faith with the American people.
He was sending a message of brute force and violence to the mullahs to incentivize them to change, but also sending a message of love and compassion to the Iranian people. So you can look at it and say, oh, it's insane that he'd make this kind of threat. But he's a deal maker.
More sane than your uncle?
He's very, very sane.
So I grew up in a place called Tipperary Hill.
I'd say he's more sane than Uncle Joe,
And,
Uncle Joe Biden.
Your uncle, your father were heroes to the Irish Catholic community. Your uncle, a Purple Heart recipient, a World War II veteran and naval commander, a hero, a member of the House of Representatives and the United States Senate, and a president whose term ended in assassination and is widely regarded as someone who navigated our country through possibly the most challenging time of the Cuban Missile Crisis. There were two pictures that hung in the homes of Irish Catholics in my neighborhood, separate pictures. One of your uncle, President John Fitzgerald Kennedy, and the other of the baby Jesus, the light of the world, two separate pictures. So I thank you for being here today. I have various concerns about the direction of HHS under your leadership, but today I'd like to focus on some particularly harmful attacks made on the disability community. Your actions and statements, Mr. Secretary, have contributed to real fears, anxieties, and consequences for millions of families.